Lounge 266. It's the fold and close cherry limeade vodka edition of the Lounge. Don't know who that would be, but it's one of us. Nathan Stacken, Charlie Hildebrand, Travis Krins, baseball playoffs. There he is.
To be fair, you don't know what I've got inside this Diet Mountain Dew here.
You don't know. Something's in there. Could be piss. Could be something else. Don't know.
Piss and vinegar.
Nobody else will find out. College football, some things actually happen. Last week we talked about all these undefeated teams, and they're going to be 12 or they're going to be 15 undefeated teams. And boy, they took a chunk out of that last night with I think Georgia losing was probably the most surprising since that was maybe the team that got knocked out of the playoff yesterday afternoon. Charlie, did Georgia lose the most here?
I don't think Georgia lost. I mean, they lost by the most points, I think, of undefeated teams. I think that it's boring to say, but I think Georgia still has all their goals in front of them. They just have to win the rest of their games. They lost their one mulligan and lost it convincingly. But they got smoked by Auburn last year and then turned around and beat them in the SEC title game. I don't know. To me, it's surprising that Georgia lost as bad as they did. I didn't see that coming, but I'm not surprised they lost. I know just like not so much this week, but just 2 or 3 weeks ago, there were people saying like, oh my God, Alabama and Georgia are clearly better than everyone else. And I was like, well, I mean, Alabama maybe, but are we lumping Georgia like in with the Tide beating people by 60? I mean, that doesn't seem accurate. And I don't know. I mean, I think Georgia's good. They're good enough to win out and make the playoffs still, but you know, it's also really tough to win in Death Valley. Yeah. You're going to have to beat Alabama in the SEC title game, which is a tall order.
That is tough.
I saw on game day yesterday that the Tigers have won the last 5 games against top 10 ranked opponents in Death Valley that are not
named Alabama?
That are not named Alabama. Yep. So if we want to look at this, then I would say that it is not surprising that
somebody took the points. LSU in the points.
We are Chiefs. Yeah, we are a Chiefs win away from completing the sweep today. Or this week.
1-1 yesterday.
2-0. I had Boston College over Louisville.
That's right, too.
And I took Georgia. We took Pittsburgh, the Steelers today over the Bengals. We took the Seahawks.
I hope you mean you took LSU because Georgia
it was more along the lines of am I taking? I didn't know if Georgia would. I gave Georgia a chance to win, but I was going to say LSU is going to at least lose by less than 7.
Quick fun side note on that, on our ESPN college pick'em thing. I think I successfully picked like 4 upsets, but the problem is I picked them all for like 1, 2, and 4 points and still got Michigan State, Penn State wrong for 10.
And the Google documents, you were 9 of 11. So you had the best week there. Charlie did.
I know I successfully picked Oregon to beat Washington, LSU to beat Georgia, although I didn't think it'd be that bad, and picking Iowa State to beat West Virginia. Or at least I picked that on our podcast.
Balls right there. Iowa State, they've done a thing. They won like 3 in a row against top 6 teams. So you got to get the top 6 in there. Notre Dame nearly lost. Oregon beat Washington in probably the best game of the day. Oregon-Washington.
Easily.
Good.
Can I ask a question on that game specifically?
Absolutely.
Did Cristobal call 2 timeouts in a row back to back?
Yes, I guess he can do that on the kick. I guess he can do that. Yeah.
I didn't know that he could. I think that's terrible. So I would like to see, you can't do that in the NFL anymore. Who was it? Joe Gibbs, I think, for Washington tried to do that once, and it ended up costing his team a win when he was coaching Washington. So I think college football needs to do away with that rule. That sucked. Because if we want to look at a team that lost the most yesterday, I would say it would be Washington because they already had 1 loss. they needed 2, or now that they have 2, they're out of the college football playoff. I mean, and the only team that has a chance in there would be the Ducks, and I don't even think they have a great chance. So
why not?
You don't think Colorado has a chance?
No, I do not think Colorado has a chance.
What do you not like about the Ducks? They have
I just don't
schedule. Their schedule is not difficult.
Right, and that's in part. Well, okay.
If they went out, they should be there. If they win the conference, they should be in the playoff.
Nope, because here's what I'll say. If Texas, do you think Oregon, a 1-loss Oregon, is better than a 1-loss Texas or a 1-loss West Virginia? Or a 1-loss Oklahoma, for that matter?
We can't have both of those. We can't have both of those, Texas and West Virginia.
Right.
They play each other.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. The winner of that. So let's say, again, you're going to have Alabama.
Sure.
You're going to have Clemson. If
Sure.
Notre Dame is undefeated, they're in. So then are you going to take a 1-loss Texas
Ohio State
or
Ohio State?
Yeah, Ohio State too. So I'm saying I don't think Oregon, when you're looking at it, they're going to need a lot of help in order to get to the playoff.
I would say not a lot. Not a lot. I think Notre Dame's going to lose. Clemson's going to lose.
I would put the middle ground between you two. I think if everybody that's good wins out, I think Oregon probably would be on the outside looking in. But it very rarely plays that everyone just is like, well, yeah, we're better than the rest of their team, so we won all of them, because there's just weird Saturdays like yesterday that a whole bunch of teams lose. Like Michigan State had basically looked terrible most of the year and found a way to beat Penn State in Happy Valley.
So we've got it now. Got really only 4 undefeated teams left. You got NC State at 5-0. They have Clemson this week. They have to win that one. I think everybody loses except Alabama. And then we'll just have a goddamn mess.
And I think NC State is in the same division as Clemson.
Yeah, so if they win that game.
If NC State wins, NC State's almost – I mean, they'd have a 1.5 game lead and would probably win the division. And if Clemson doesn't win – obviously. I mean, NC State could drop 2 conference games still. But an 11-1 Clemson team that doesn't win its own division, like, I think they could get in, but I think they would be far behind a lot of other 1-loss teams that win their conference, because Clemson's schedule is not all that great this year.
A lot of possibilities. Going back to the Oregon game with the kicker. Didn't the kicker kick it, and he made it, and then they called the timeout?
Yes, he did.
Then he kicked it again.
Yeah. And that's why I thought, like, oh, sweet, Washington was able to pull away with the victory here. It's great. And then they called timeout. Like, I don't think you can do that, or I didn't know you could do that in college football. So I think that needs to be done away with.
People say this, and I understand that I don't love it either, but what do you mean done away with? You're saying that if someone calls a timeout late, you can like retroactively as a referee be like, no. That's not fair. You're not allowed to take a timeout there.
No, I'm saying back to back at the end. You can't do that. That's what I'm saying.
But you can do it on any other play. Why should a kick be any different?
You want the whole –
if you're a kicker and you're not good enough to make 2 straight field goals and one of them where they call a timeout, then maybe you should have beat the team by more than enough points that you don't need to kick a field goal.
You know what?
At the end.
That's a completely fair point.
I like, don't get me wrong. I'm not pro everybody calling a timeout at the last second, but I don't like – I think it's more that I don't like people making rules where it's just like, yeah, I mean, it's not perfect, but, make the kick and you don't have to worry about it.
Oregon quarterback Stacking. I saw a mock draft where he was the first guy taken. Do you think that's legitimate?
It's between I would say him. I would say it's between him and Locke from Missouri. Is that a fair statement?
How about I pass on the tall Missouri guy?
Okay,
I'm just going to pass on that. Will Grier more than tall Missouri guy.
Oh, I can't believe you wouldn't want to. I can't believe you wouldn't want to take the quarterback from the school that produced Blaine Gabbert. I am shocked.
I'll pass on Missouri guy. I'll take Oregon guy.
Charlie, how about
huh?
I was going to say, how about Taryn Christian? Can I interest you in Taryn Christian?
No, he'll not get drafted. He'll not make a team. No. Charlie, what do you think about the Oregon quarterback?
I think if right now you want to say he's the lead guy to be picked first, that's reasonable based off what we know. But at the same time, in October, whoever's the presumptive favorite, that just means, much like the Heisman in September, that just means that that's who you know is not going to be the first pick in April or May because they start going out of their way to find weird stuff. And I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of defensive linemen that I could see going number one overall too. I mean, whether that's Oliver out of Houston or on 14 different Clemson or Alabama guys.
I'm very happy.
Well, I got to think that the Giants are going to be drafting a quarterback. And who did I see them take? God dang it! I saw it in a Mahomes just missed Kareem Hunt, and I really needed that touchdown. Anyway, sorry.
Gone away. There we go. You're back.
Anyway, sorry. Who did I see them taking? I'll have to pull it up. Sorry, that was worthless on my part to say that the Giants were taking some quarterback. Oh, the guy from Duke.
Duke's got a quarterback?
Duke's got a quarterback. Let me find this here. And they said that the reason why the Giants would take him is because Eli and David Cutcliffe. You know, it's that relationship there. So let's go here.
I don't think the Giants are going to draft a quarterback based off who their current quarterback had as a coach 15 years ago and will not be with the Giants 2 years from now.
Well, it's Daniel Jones, and yes,
Jones.
It's Daniel Jones.
Sounds like a Hall of Famer to me.
This sounds like someone's looking into things, reading into certain aspects too much and trying to, I don't know. I feel confident in saying that if the Giants draft in the top 5, which seems quite possible, that they will not take a Duke quarterback in the first 5 picks.
I'm very happy that Washington lost. I have no time for Washington. I don't want to watch Washington.
I lost 2 of my 4 playoff teams yesterday with both Washington and Wisconsin losing.
Yes, you did. Charlie, do you think – I asked Stacken this on Monday. Do you think the Giants regret not taking Sam Darnold instead of Saquon Barkley?
Maybe right now, but honestly, I think it's going to be tough to make a strong statement, at least for the next 3 or 4 years, because even though Darnold has looked good at times, there's still a long way to go. And, like, quite frankly, if this following year or the year after they draft someone else at quarterback who is better than Darnold, like, I don't think that they will be all that concerned, you know, if the next Andrew Luck or somebody like that comes around.
LSU with the win. They now jump all the way up to 5th in the poll. They had 8 spots. Texas moved up a couple. They were very unimpressive against Baylor.
LSU is the highest-ranked one-loss team, right?
Yeah. Yep. LSU, Michigan, Texas, Michigan. Looks like it's going to come down to Michigan and Ohio State. So if Michigan can rule the table here, they got Penn State where they got that game at. Penn State lost to Michigan State in the final minute. They've got Penn State at home. They've got Michigan State this week. So if they get past those 2 games, I mean, Michigan, they'll be a top 3-4 team. So
is anyone else like thinking that Ohio State's kind of flirting with disaster here at some point? I mean, they did not look very good against Minnesota. And Minnesota shit the bed a little bit, missed a field goal, had an interception in there. Ohio State didn't look great in that game yesterday.
I think Ohio State's plenty good, but they're young and relatively inexperienced. And this, I mean, I don't know. I think they're good enough to win the conference and go to the playoff. This team does not strike me like the 2014 and 15 teams did, where you're just like, oh, yeah, these guys are frickin' loaded and can beat anybody. not to say that they couldn't beat anybody, but they don't have that, I don't know, whether you want to call it an it factor or the right chemistry or whatever. There's something often missing from Ohio State, it seems like to me, compared to the other best of the best team, Alabama at least.
Where does Central Florida fit in? They are 10th. They didn't move. They're still 10th. They would have to beat Cincinnati. They would have to beat South Florida. I don't think they're going undefeated, but if they were, they would need let's see. Would they get in over a one-loss team of anybody else? Probably not.
I don't think they get in over a one-loss SEC or Big Ten team or a one-loss Clemson. But after that, I think it would just kind of depend on things. The best thing going for UCF is that they went undefeated last year.
They're already high up.
So even though last year should not matter, there's carryover, and I think that will help them. Just that I think they're higher now than they were at any point all of last year, except after the bowl game when they beat Auburn, if I remember right. I think they were like 12 or 13 going into the bowl game. So I don't know if they can get high enough, but it's going to be a lot closer than it was last year if they went out.
Somehow Kentucky jumped 4 spots on the bye. Kentucky's the 14th best team. All right, you got me there. Okay. Sure, whatever. Let's see. Charlie, if you had to change your playoff pick, would you make any changes? You picked Clemson as the 1 seed, Alabama as the 2, then Wisconsin and Washington.
Well, I'm getting rid of Wisconsin and Washington. I think I would go – I'm going to keep Alabama and Clemson. I think Notre Dame's going to get in again.
Oh.
So now I'm debating between if I want
Ohio State.
Basically, if I want Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, or Texas for that last spot. And I think I'm going to go with I'm going to go I'm down to Texas or Michigan for the last spot. I'm going to go Texas.
Texas.
I'm going Texas.
So it'd be
they are back.
Alabama and Texas. That'd be a hell of a fucking playoff game.
Just in my brain here, I would have Alabama play Notre Dame in the first round because of course, and they would crush Notre Dame. So
Clemson, Texas.
You know what? And yeah, and let's go. Yeah. Well, no, I'm changing my mind. I can't help it. I'm going Michigan. And Michigan somehow finds a way to beat Clemson, and then we get a Nick Saban, Alabama, Jim Harbaugh, Michigan national title game. That's what I'm going. I'm going Clemson, Alabama, Michigan, Notre Dame. So if you are west of the Mississippi River, none of your teams are in there.
If Alabama played Texas in the college football playoff, I would put that at 40 points, 41, however many points there are. I would be all in on Alabama in that one. Not even a question. If you can barely beat Baylor at home, you don't deserve.
Stack it. It's one game. Everyone has weird games at times.
I know.
And I'm going to come up with my second point. Who could Alabama play in the national title game that you wouldn't put at 41 right now?
Well, that's very true. But, yeah, that's true. Anyway. Also, Central Florida and South Florida. Yes. Central Florida, South Florida, very lucky to be unbeaten.
Sure.
After this week.
So this was the week of the upsets. Stack and you the
and
same.
College Game Day, first time ever. They will be at Pullman, Washington, for Washington State, Oregon next week.
What a weak sauce game that should be. Here we come.
Washington State moved into the top 25, so it's a battle of. I think 2 one-loss teams, but yeah, I don't. Although it would be very Oregon to win a close game at home and then turn around and go on the road next week and find a way to lose.
It'd be bad. Stack, and you had the same playoff as Charlie. What do you want to change?
Obviously, get rid of Washington, get rid of Wisconsin. Clemson scares me a little bit, but I'll keep them in. Of course, obviously, keep Alabama. And then let's see. We'll add Notre Dame. And then just for shits and giggles, we'll add Ohio State. Sub them in for, and then we'll go Notre Dame with West Virginia just missing out. I hope West Virginia makes the college football playoff. That would be awesome, but I do not see that happening.
I'm apologizing quick. I'm making another change to mine. I'm getting rid of Clemson also. I'm having both Texas and Michigan. Texas, Michigan, Notre Dame, Alabama. Maybe the four most hated teams in college football.
Damn.
And we'll find out how many people are going to be like, you know what? I'm a Texas or a Michigan or a Notre Dame fan now because they're playing Alabama this week.
What?
I think I'd rather have Alabama than any of those.
Well, the problem
I don't like Jim Harbaugh.
They have Michigan, Texas. Who's the other one?
For me, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. Okay. The problem is Boots likes half those teams. So that'd be tough for him. Marcus
doesn't he like?
It's bad.
He doesn't like Nebraska. I know that.
He likes the Astros. He likes the Texans. He likes the Broncos. He likes Brock Osweiler.
He's therefore a Dolphins fan now.
Apparently. Marcus had Georgia and Oregon, so Marcus with the Oregon pick. That's
Oregon. He picked Oregon to win the Pac-12 before the season. So
ballsy.
Kudos to Marcus for. I guess they might not, but right now they look like the front runner.
And Schottenkirk with Ohio State and Texas. He's looking pretty good. And I had Texas. I had Penn State. I was banging on the Penn State folks there to do something. But
speaking of Schottenkirk, how lucky was he in the picks this week that he had Virginia pull off that upset win over Miami, but Ole Miss pulling one out of their ass against Arkansas. That was crazy. I can't get any separation from this guy.
Like the last 5 years have proved that of like Power 5 conference rivalries that nobody cares about, that like Ole Miss Arkansas has turned into like the bad game you don't want to watch, but turns out to be a fantastic game all the time.
Weird game. Clemson and Alabama. Suppose I'll keep it. If I had to change, I would. I guess I would take Ohio State and Oklahoma. I'll do my two teams. So very boring. Ohio State, Oklahoma, Clemson, and Alabama. The same teams that have always been in there. Florida. They should have lost, but they didn't. They played Georgia in 2 weeks, so that'll be a bloodbath of a game. If Florida wins
13,
it's going to be ugly. If Florida wins that, they should. I mean, that should be enough to win that.
We get back to where we were with McElwain. Alabama, Florida, SEC title game with Alabama winning by 40 points.
Is South Carolina one of the more disappointing teams in college football this year?
Yeah, they're 3-3. Close losses. They lost to A&M by 3. Lost at Kentucky. That's a goddamn disappointment. Yeah, South Carolina gonna struggle to go 6-6 or 7-5. That's Tennessee finally got a win. Auburn is just falling off the map. So Tennessee. Let's see. Tennessee.
Also, that's a better answer than South Carolina for most disappointing team is Auburn, especially after beating Washington week 1.
Tennessee will win probably 3 games, so they'll be on the bubble. And Auburn, what to do? I'll have to put the Auburn jacket up for the winner if this keeps up. I mean, 4, 3.
Hey, Bruce Pearl has got that basketball program looking real good, Prince. Keep that up. They're going to be a 2 or 3 seed in March. Just watch.
Might be a 7-5 season for Auburn.
2 other teams disappointing who could still win 10 games or so, but are stacking an eyes to kick them out of our playoff. Washington and Wisconsin, who in the first week of October or second week of October already have 2 losses.
Dunzo. There.
Also, like to throw into Virginia Tech pulling one out of their ass last week or yesterday, against North Carolina with a Kansas transfer quarterback.
Wow, digging deep.
Ryan Willis. That's
Wait, hold on. Did he play basketball at Kansas? Because then he could be really good.
Nope, he was a quarterback.
No, he played football at Kansas. Oh, no,
yes, he did.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good in Hokie land. And but hey, we got to win. So
Charlie, was this the best offensive game for Nebraska?
It may have been. I did not see most of it. I saw the first quarter and then had to leave to go cover Briar Cliff. I recorded it, and then when I found out how the way they lost, I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to go back and watch that. I know they scored 31 points, which I think is the most points they've scored all season, so it was probably their best offensive game.
I think I saw on SportsCenter they said they had like a 97% chance to. Oh fuck you!
Yeah, but like first off, those things are such BS.
I hate those.
Like I swear that they purposely like inflate them just so they can go online or on TV and be like, "Oh my god, this is record breaking." Like
right
when you're within one score against one of the worst pass defenses in the country, and clock stops for first downs. Like, I could have bought 75%. I don't think I would go. I mean, if you're playing Alabama, I'd say about a 98% chance that you're not going to win. But against an 0-5 Nebraska team, I don't know. That's someone who either has made an accounting error or needs to fix their formula.
Well, wasn't it the 99-yard drive, though? Isn't that what kind of spurred it?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would have thought Nebraska would win, but I mean, part of this is just based off. We see this, it seems like, every week that someone has a 98% chance to win or 95% or better and then doesn't. And when you see it every single week, it starts making me think. And I don't know. I mean, you guys have seen plenty of times, too. The worst is when, like, a team's up by 10 points with 4 minutes left in the third quarter. They're like, oh, well, they've got an 87% chance. And it's like, that seems a little high right now.
It does.
Like, we see teams come back from that all the time.
We do. Got Michigan and Michigan State. Tricky game there. Oklahoma at TCU. TCU does not look great.
If TCU lost to Texas Tech on Thursday?
Yeah, not good. Not a lot of points scored in that one. Game of the week is probably, I don't know, North Carolina State and Clemson. They're in the same division, both undefeated.
Not Washington State and Oregon with maybe a whole bunch of points.
This is going to be the first time that College Game Day is going to have the Washington State play in fourth spots right there.
Very exciting. I'm none excited about it. Yeah, just another bad week. At least you had some upsets this week, but next week, poop on the next week. There, that's what I say.
Trivia question?
Oh, what do we got, folks? What do we got?
This is only because it's been brought up twice, and it's related to that. As I click into a different tab, College Game Day, attending a game in Pullman, Washington for the first time ever. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 Power 5 schools who have never hosted College Game Day.
Really?
I will just go ahead and tell you that the two independents that are good, BYU and Notre Dame, both have. So you don't even have to worry about those. But if you can name the 11 Power 5 football teams that have never hosted College Game Day on their campus.
Minnesota.
I didn't say you could go first, but yes, you were correct.
I said I was going to go first anyway, so you can thank the Clear American.
All right, you want to play it that way? All right, you didn't count. Krins, you're up first. Who do you want to take?
I like Minnesota to go. I don't think they've ever been there.
Krins is correct. Stacking. Who you taking?
What an asshole.
There's a couple of them that you think would be on the list, but you're like, well, they had that one good year, so it's like, did they go there?
Can I go Wake? I'll go Wake Forest.
Stacking. That is correct.
What was their first one? 93 at Notre Dame? Was it Notre Dame?
I think the first one was at Ohio State in like 94, 95.
Gotta say Rutgers, because for Christ's sake.
Rutgers is correct. They have never hosted game day. Stack Attack.
Mm-hmm. God, I hope they've never hosted. I'll say Kansas.
You know what? You were correct, Stack, and they've never hosted game day on their campus. Now, all of these, it's possible they've played in the college game day game, but if they did, they were the road team.
Well, who is the coach, man? Maginio or what?
Mark Mangino, who got fired after a
Kansas
5-7 season, and then they've never won more than 3 games.
Would Kansas like a redo on that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Indiana.
Hold on, let me go back. Indiana is not correct. I'm stunned to see. I looked through this list earlier, but didn't pay that close of attention. I do not remember when it could have been. Wait, was it the opening game last year where they? No, that was like a Friday or something.
Thursday.
No, it was a Thursday night game. It would have been Ohio State and Indiana.
Well, that's Saturday.
So that's not it. So I don't know what Indiana.
Why?
Where did this go? College game day, because I know they got a Wikipedia page for it. And as I'm clicking on things and stalling for time, so I can hit Control F.
I guess it was last year, the opening game. That just seems bad. For the first time in 25 years. It was last year, I guess, end of August.
That would have been the Thursday night. They shouldn't count that.
Yeah, it's college game day. It was there. I was on that Thursday.
Yeah, that's bad. So I don't know. I screwed Stacking over once already. Stacking, should we give Krenz the mulligan? I'm leaving it in your hands since I didn't count your first answer.
I think you need to give me at least one free.
One strike?
Yeah, but I will.
And Krenz guesses again. I think that's fair. Krenz goes again, and his one strike has been used.
I will say.
Well, Krenz has to guess again first.
Oh, sorry. Wait, no. Oh, okay. All right. I have one ready. Can I just jump in?
Iowa State?
Iowa State is correct. They have not ever hosted college game day.
I don't think so.
I believe Vanderbilt has never hosted.
Wow.
Stacking, unfortunately, that is strike one for you. I do not remember. I also, unfortunately, clicked out of the Wikipedia page for it. I don't know. Well, hold on a second here. Here we go. Game day. Okay.
2009? That's when the video was. 2012?
2008. Vanderbilt. 19 Vanderbilt hosted 13 Auburn. And Vanderbilt won 14-13.
Look at that.
That would have been when one James Franklin was the head coach. Wonder whatever happened to that guy if he stayed at Vanderbilt.
This sucks. Not good.
All right, Stacking, you unfortunately got a strike, but
still alive.
Another guess here.
I get to guess again?
Yep, to stay in the game.
Oh, shit.
Or actually, at this point, we're just going whoever loses and gets it wrong, the next person has to get one to win.
Has Duke ever hosted? I'm going to say no.
You are correct. Duke has not ever hosted College Game Day. Stacking. Undertaker's music hits, and he sits up alive.
How many left?
5? I believe 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe there are 5 left that you guys have not said.
Virginia.
Virginia is correct.
This kind of goes back to the teams that haven't been ranked forever. Haven't been in the top 10.
I'm going to say...
I think there is a lot of carryover from that list. I mean,
so
I guess
I
this
two.
is sort of minorly spoiling things, but there are not any schools, like Texas or Michigan that are like magically on this list where you're like, oh my God, they've been so good over the last 25 years. How have they not done it?
So I have 2 in consideration here. I will say Maryland.
Maryland is correct, Stackin.
Okay.
So I believe there are 3 left you guys have not said. I should have written these. I'm taking this all from a guy's Twitter account.
Kentucky.
Doggone it.
Kentucky, not on the list.
Not on the list. They did 1 year.
That was my other. That was the other school that I was going to guess.
In 2007, 8th-ranked Kentucky hosted
14th-ranked
Florida. That was when they had Andre Woodson at quarterback, and they beat LSU and went on to win the national title that year. And everyone said he was going to be a first-round draft pick and do great things. And
I was surprised. And I was surprised Trump won, and yet fuckers are voting Kentucky 8th. Okay. Fuck the whole thing. Jesus.
Stacking for the win.
Unbelievable.
Okay.
Kentucky. I mean, what are we doing, Kentucky?
Okay. Let's see here. So we were saying Washington State does not count, correct?
Washington State doesn't count.
Okay.
Hey now.
Technically, Washington State hasn't hosted it yet, but I'm going to assume there are not any world-altering natural disasters or man-made disasters that change that. Maybe a strong assumption, but...
Okay. So... Okay, so I will guess Illinois.
Illinois is correct. They've never hosted College Game Day.
Is North Carolina on the list?
North Carolina is not. When did North?
Can I guess how many more do we have? 2 or 1?
2, I believe. North Carolina hosted. Okay. Oh, no, that's North Carolina State. Whoops.
Okay.
In 1997, I do not remember this. Number 2 Florida State played at number 5 North Carolina.
Really?
Back when Mac Brown was the head coach at North Carolina.
Okay.
What do you got, Stacking?
Okay, so I'm trying to think here now.
I'm 99% sure there are 2 that haven't been said, and I'm 99%
Am I correct in saying that all Pac-12 schools, like there are no all Pac-12 schools have hosted?
You are not corrected. That is an incorrect statement.
Arizona.
It's not Arizona.
Arizona State.
It's not Arizona State either.
I swear Oregon State hosted.
They must have, because Oregon State's not on this list. It's probably some weekend they played USC when Mike Riley was there.
They've never been to Colorado?
Oh, yeah.
They've been to Colorado.
Okay,
I would assume they've been there for
really
Nebraska, Colorado games.
Have they really never been to UCLA?
Oh, yeah.
They've been to UCLA.
Who else?
What?
Utah.
What Pac-12 school is not on it then?
Utah?
One that you guys haven't mentioned. It's not Utah either.
Jesus Christ. Stanford, Oregon.
It's not Stanford, not Oregon.
Washington has.
And now you're starting to understand why they've not been to this school because you're not even thinking.
Has Cal really never
Cal
been?
is the answer. They've
Yeah.
never been
I
to
went.
Cal.
I thought of them like, no, they've been there. Well, goddamn.
I thought for sure with Goff or Rodgers and Lynch have for sure been on there.
Well, I don't think they were ever all that good when Goff was there.
Okay,
So let me get for a couple years with Cal, and then the last school is the one that the beat writer who came up with this list is from.
Okay, so let me guess this one here. My
only clue I'll give you is that it's east of the Mississippi River.
Okay, thank you, because that's what I was thinking it would be.
Missouri?
Nope, they've been to Missouri.
Yeah,
I think for that Missouri-Kansas game when they were both in the top 5.
What I want to say is Boston College, but I feel like they've been there before.
It's not Boston College. That's a good guess, though.
No, that was not a guess. I was going to
Syracuse.
It's Syracuse. That is correct.
Oh, that's a good one. Doggone it. I kind of forgot about the Qs.
The Qs. Who's winning the game between the Huskies and the Tar Heels? It's the Qs. Good. Playoffs. Looks like we're in for maybe a couple of lengthy series. We'll see what happens with this. It looks like the Astros stack, and I believe the Astros.
You believe what?
I believe the Astros this year have not gotten their due as maybe like one of the best teams in the last 50 years.
Well, because when you get overshadowed by the Red Sox and the Yankees, I think that's I kind of agree with Alex Bregman here. He's like, put us in prime time. Like, well, okay, Alex, you're. By the way, they homered tonight. And that is, I think, the 14th straight game that postseason game that they have homered in, which is a record. Am I correct in that?
That would seem to be right. George Springer seems to be like one of the best playoff hitters of all time. Lots of runs here. It's 5-4.
Are they?
David Price was bad again. So,
is this not a good idea for TBS to be going against Chiefs Patriots?
I'm sure they don't care.
I'm very curious to see tomorrow because I'm a ratings guy. I'm very curious to see tomorrow what the split is going to be here in terms of the ratings for the Boston area.
Oh, there'll be more people watching the football game. Like the Pythagorean win-loss is based on your runs and your giving up and all that stuff and what your record should be. And Houston had the second best one since World War II. So,
do you remember who it was that had the best?
Like late '60s Orioles.
No, it was not one of those Yankees teams with 7 Hall of Famers.
No.
Huh.
Mariners were third. The Mariners team was third.
That one from 2000 or whatever that set the record for wins.
They were third. I think the '98 Yankees were in the top 5. So Houston was second. I think they'll win this series. Brewers had their chance. They should be up 2-0, up 3-0 in the 7th.
What happened? What happened in that game? Because I didn't watch it, but
scored a bunch of runs. Craig Counsell's been fucking around here with his bullpen, and they didn't put in their best bullpen guy at all in that game. Josh Hader, he threw 3 innings in game 1, about 45, 50 pitches, and apparently he could not pitch in game 2. I have no idea why. It was the first time he'd pitched in 5 days. You're up 3-0. You've had pitchers hit home runs. You've had pitchers drive in runs. So they've been fortunate there, and their pitching's been great. And they decide not to put in their best pitcher. If they put him in, I feel confident that they're up 2-0. I thought the Brewers would win this one in 5, but now I think it's going to be. I think Brewers still win, but in 6 or 7. But they really fucked it up there. Up 3-0 in the 7th. They let that one get away. And stacking the way they're doing their pitchers, the game 1, they had their starter went 2 innings. The next guy went 2 innings. Hader went 3 innings. I think that is the way baseball will be in 5 or 10 years, where the first pitcher will go 2, the next pitcher will go 2, the next pitcher will go 2 or 3, and that's how you're going to get to the 7th inning.
How is that going to affect the contracts?
I could affect them, yeah. I could affect them with wins and losses and innings and all that. Because I looked it up there 10 years ago, I think there were like 30-some pitchers who threw 200 innings. And this year there were like 10 or 12.
Do you think they're going to do that? I mean, I guess I don't know. Not
every team, but a lot of teams will.
And, like, do you think they'll do that with most guys except, like, one?
Yeah.
Or, like, I should rephrase this. If you've got a guy –
Verlander.
Like, I don't even want to say, like, 2000 Pedro Martinez. Like, not even that good. But you've just got a guy who's, like, one of the 7 best pitchers in the league.
Sure.
Like, are you going to give him more and then just do it that way with the rest of your guys? Or
like, I think the way it's going to be is the 4th and 5th starters, that spot in the rotation will be that way. Because the Astros they've got the starters. They've got Garrett Cole, who's pitching tonight. They've got Verlander. They've got all of these guys, Keuchel, who are, you let those guys start and let those guys go 7, 8 innings if they can. But the Brewers just don't have those guys, so the Brewers are doing it 2 to 3 innings at a time, and it's gotten them this far. And the Dodgers, maybe they do that in a game here. Boston, Chris Sale seems to be injured, so they're going to have to hit their way to the World Series here, because if Chris Sale's not Chris Sale, then that's not good for them. And stacking David Price is bad. So
he is bad, and Chris Sale was not good last night either.
He's hurt. Something's wrong with him. He's hurt. So
right. So I mean that's definitely a cause for concern then. For
Boston.
Who's worse in the playoffs, David Price or
Kershaw?
Mr. Dodgers himself, Clayton
David
Kershaw?
Price is worse, but he's worse. But Kershaw, I mean, he's just not good. It wasn't his fault the other night. His catcher, Grandal, the catcher, he had a pass ball here. He had to throw from the outfield, get past him. He sucked it up 3-4 times. Just atrocious. And then I think they pinch hit him in game 2, and he decides to slide feet first into first, which is something I've seen maybe 3 times ever.
Like, 2 of them in South Dakota State softball.
The fuck
not the girl softball, but like the rec league softball. Yeah, intramural. That was the word I was looking for.
Dive head first. Okay, you can all just run through first. You'll be fine. To dive feet first, if you want to slow your ass down, by all means, dive feet first into first, like a stupid asshole jackass. And that's what he did. So if he plays again in the series, then that's not a very good move right there. But regardless of whose fault it was, Kershaw, he did not last long, and it's just the facts that he is just not good in the playoffs. ERA well over 4. So I thought Brewers, Astros stacking. Is that? Yep. I think that's what it's going to be. I would love to see that.
We got to renew that old NLC. So
yeah, somebody's got to tell somebody what league these teams are in, because the Brewers were in the National League for forever, and then they switched, and then Houston was in the National League.
The Brewers did?
Huh?
Really?
Brewers were in the American League until 2000 something?
Yeah, they were in the same division as the White Sox. I remember when I was a little kid.
98 they switched?
No way.
What do you mean, no way?
What the hell?
You didn't know this, Stackin?
No, I did.
Brewers were in the National League for 30 years.
Shit.
You mean American League?
Yeah, American League. What are we doing?
Yeah, they were in the American League when I was like a kid collecting baseball cards. Because whenever I'd watch the White Sox play the Brewers would be like, "Well, we only scored 2 runs, but we didn't allow any runs, and the White Sox only had 2 hits the whole game."
How shocked are you to find out that the Brewers were in the AL Central?
Is Stacken more shocked to find out that the Brewers used to be AL, or is Charlie more shocked that Stacken didn't know that in the first place?
I think we're all shocked that he didn't know.
I honestly,
you thought,
honestly, I did not know that. I really didn't.
Stacken, did you know that the Seattle Seahawks used to be in the AFC?
I did. I did know that. That was quite the game in London today.
Go back.
Renewing their AFC West rivalry with the ugly.
Let's see. What was it? It was Seattle and Tampa Bay, 76 or 77?
76.
They did weird shit with the divisions for 2 years since they had 2 expansion teams. They decided to put them in the 1976.
They did weird shit up until 2002, Crins, because
I know Tampa Bay
because the NFC because because Atlanta and Carolina were in the NFC West. In what world does that make any sense? It still doesn't make sense that Indianapolis is in the AFC South when you have a perfectly viable candidate with the Miami Dolphins. It just don't get me started on divisions. Don't get me started.
The
Dolphins makes more sense though because they want the Dolphins to keep playing those teams they've played for 50 years.
You're right. No, and I get that, but
Arizona Cardinals in the East, for Christ's sakes, the Arizona Cardinals.
Yes. At the Tampa Bay in the NFC Central. What part of Tampa Bay is central? If it's Central Florida, then yes, you are correct. But are you talking about like the NFC Central, like the Central United
global scale of the world?
No, you are not. I mean, good.
It's closer
Don't get me started
on the
It's kind of like keeping the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Northwest Division. What part of Oklahoma City is Northwest? Don't get me. You want to
find
a hot topic?
Stacken's just ranting because he wants us to forget that he didn't know the Brewers used to be in the AL.
He's doing a Trump strategy of look at this, look at my dick.
No. Honestly, didn't know that. But division, how they drop divisions frustrates the hell out of me.
Okay,
it does. It just
you do know that they fixed it, right, Stacken? Most of it.
They fixed what?
The NFL division.
They didn't fix.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they did fix it. They just have 2 light switches that when you flip them on and off, they don't do anything. But the rest of the house is fine.
The NBA is what really gets me. So
what really grinds your gears.
Yeah, it gets my goat. That's for sure.
Minnesota's in the West, but when you think about it, it's like, yeah, they got to be in the West because, well, everything's east of them is in the East. 1976, NFL. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were in the AFC West with the Raiders and the Broncos and the Chargers and the Chiefs. Tampa Bay was in that division. Also, Seattle was in the NFC West in that same year, 1976. The very next year, 1977, what happened? They switched. The Seahawks went to the AFC West and Tampa Bay went to the Central. Because they didn't want, I don't know why they did this. Why did you put Tampa Bay into the AFC West for 1 year? I have no idea. I don't know, for scheduling, some sort of scheduling purposes. I believe Seattle, I want to say Seattle and Tampa Bay maybe played twice that year. I don't know. But the whole thing don't make a whole lot of sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
It
doesn't. No.
What did you take away from the pro football this week? Vikings won. Thielen's good. Bears, Dolphins played the Dolphins.
I'm surprised Peter King has not retweeted my tweet about Thielen being the best ever. That very much angers me.
I'm surprised you didn't retweet my tweet from last week where I said the same thing.
Well, you know what? Fair enough.
Fair enough. You didn't even see it.
And I'm surprised that you didn't know the Brewers used to be in the American League.
Because I didn't even like last week. I tweeted the same thing.
You did.
I said, very simply, Adam Thielen's the best receiver in the NFL. That's all I said.
His route running is phenomenal, and he made a lot of Cardinals look silly today. However, the loss comes at a price. Mike Hughes has a torn ACL by the sounds of it, so that sucks.
Terrence Newman. There was a rule like Newman can't come back because he's a coach. Like what type? Why? What rule does that make sense?
It seems dumb.
I would say come back. Newman, where are you at?
I also have a stat for you. The Bears are 0-3 lifetime versus Brock Osweiler.
Boy, what a stupid game! What a dumb game.
Agreed.
Charlie, I mean, at the end, I saw the fumble at the 1. Just quarterback sneak it. This ain't tough. Quarterback sneak it. Something happened at the end of regulation where both teams were fucking around.
Why wasn't Frank Gore in there? They called timeout. Why wasn't Frank Gore getting that?
Put him in there.
Both valid questions.
Jesus Christ.
But
Chicago missed
in all honesty,
in overtime after Miami fumbled it.
I'm tired of Kirk Cousins fumbling it all the time. Now I get that it's good, but still, he's got to stop fumbling it. He's got to be able to feel that pocket collapsing around him. But Latavius Murray is great. Adam Thielen is phenomenal. He is the best wide receiver in the league. I mean, that catch he had along the sideline.
Holy shit.
What
was it? 6 passes that were knocked down? Like, fucking Christ.
Oh, yeah. I've
never seen
terrible.
Never seen a game with that.
No, it's bad. It's bad. But they got the win. Again, it's going to come with the price to pay, though. We're going to have the MRI tomorrow, but it's feared that Mike Hughes does have a torn ACL. That sucks major because he's a good player. And that sucks. But also, the Dallas Cowboys kicked the shit out of the Jacksonville Jaguars today. And Tennessee has no offense. The Steelers beat the Bengals per usual, but why do you blitz and leave Antonio Brown wide open with no time remaining essentially in the game? That's dumb. So screw you, Bengals. And that's about it. That's what I got. Oh, the Bills better today.
How'd my boy do today, Stacken? How'd he do?
He injured his elbow. He was under 100 yards, but he did injure his elbow, Krins. So I think that's something to factor in.
How does he know? How does he know? Besides the elbow being hurt, like, would it matter? Like, if he went out there and threw with like a fucking torn ligament in his arm, like, would that fucking matter at all?
It would just mean that his incomplete passes would not get there as quickly.
It'd be like, fuck. He wouldn't be any different. It would be awful. Thielen has outgained him the last 2 weeks. For 2 weeks in a row, he has failed. This Peterman jack off, Jesus Christ. He threw another one. Fuck. I mean, Buffalo. Who's making those decisions?
Josh Allen was 10 of 17 for 84 yards today.
That sucks. That sucks a lot.
I mean, the mere fact that the Texans struggled this much with the Bills, though, is bad. By the way, there's a 3-way tie for first place in the AFC South. The Jaguars, Titans, and Texans are all 3-0, or all 3-3. The Texans were 0-3 3 weeks ago, and now they sit tied atop the division. What a crazy world we live in. If you didn't have Josh Myers on your fantasy team, that was a mistake because the kicker for the Jets had 20 points. He's a kicker for the Jets. He only kicked 7 field goals today.
7 field goals.
Yeah. I'll pull this up. The Jets beat the Colts 42-34. The Colts are a bad team.
They should trade their quarterback.
You think they should trade their quarterback, huh? Well, you know what? That's probably not a bad idea.
For 1-5 with them?
7 for 7 on field goals, 3 for 3 extra points. Josh Myers.
Giants. You want a quarterback? Here's a guy. Who could use Andrew Luck, Charlie?
That's a good question. Some of the teams who could use them? The Buffalo Bills.
They'd be dumb enough to give you 3 first-round picks for them or something like that.
Unfortunately, the Browns, I think, kind of like Baker Mayfield, so the Browns aren't going to make a terrible decision to trade for them.
They look bad today. I bet with a coworker the other week.
You're fine. Why do I feel like the Bengals are wasting our time?
They are.
Isn't this what me and Schottenkirk argued about like 4 years ago?
Like the Bengals and the Lions, and then they're saying the Bengals and the Lions, they haven't changed.
Wait, was Schottenkirk saying that the Bengals were for real?
I don't know.
I was saying, all I remember is I said something to the effect of like, you might as well just get rid of Dalton because he's fine, but he's not good enough to take you to the Super Bowl.
He's Alex Smith. He's Alex.
If you want to go to the Super Bowl, you're going to need to bring in somebody else. Otherwise, 3 years from now, which I think we're more than 3 years since then, but you'd be like, well, all our good guys are getting old and we need to get rid of them, so we got to start over.
You could say you'd have the same exact argument right now with Stafford and Dalton. Like, they might win that division, but they're not winning a playoff game, so what the fuck are we doing?
I feel a little different with Stafford, and it's not because I think he's better, but it's more like the Lions have been so bad for so long that I think it's part of like, do you really want to get rid of, even though I don't think Stafford's like great, like literally the best quarterback you've had in maybe 40 years.
Probably the best one I've ever had, yeah.
I assume you guys know this, but I'll just say it anyway.
1990.
You know how many passing touchdowns Matt Ryan has? Well, okay, you won't know this answer.
He should probably be the MVP. He's probably got
Matt Ryan has
15, 20.
Matt Ryan has 11 passing touchdowns this year.
That's it?
Yep, that's it. Do you know how many have gone to Julio Jones?
0.
Yep. Julio Jones for the year has 34 receptions for 564 yards. That's hard to do. That's clip. I think it's like roughly 90 some yards. It's like 95 yards receiving a game.
There was one guy. I saw a tweet. One guy ended the year with like 900 some receiving yards with no touchdowns, and that's the record for most receiving yards without a touchdown. He'll get a touchdown. It
baffles me. I just don't get it.
I mean,
how does he?
And they almost lost again today. They scored 34 points. They didn't turn the ball over, and they still almost lost. Jesus Christ!
Did you see that final play though that the Bucs ran?
No, I did. They were short. I don't know what happened. They were short, or what happened?
No. Okay, so Jameis Winston, last play of the game, he just runs straight up the middle, and the Falcons kind of got caught off guard a little bit, and then he pitches it back, and I think it was to Humphreys. Humphreys can't corral the ball long enough or at all, and so he fumbles it. Mike Evans picks it up, and Mike Evans just blindly tosses it back to Deshaun Jackson. And Deshaun Jackson, if he catches it cleanly, he's going to score a touchdown. There are 5 Falcons that are closing in on him, but with Deshaun's speed, he's got the touchdown. The Bucs win. All is right with the world. But he fumbled it, and it was you have to look at it. It was one of the better non-touchdown last-ditch plays that you'll ever see.
Really second, quick question. Going back to Julio Jones. Through 6 games, he doesn't have a touchdown yet, you said?
Yes.
Yes.
So you're saying he's like a straight guy at a lesbian bar, he just can't score?
Yeah,
that's... Oh.
What?
I don't know how to respond to that, but I guess other than and
I think the way to respond to it is yes, that is accurate.
It's fucking brilliant. That's what it is. It's
Vikings are 3-point favorites at the Jets.
They should be.
They've never won at the Jets.
The Vikings have never won at the New York Jets before.
They own 5.
Huh.
Travis, you'll remember this. Remember the last time the Vikings and the Jets played?
Oh, it was a Monday night in 2010. It was Favre and fucking Moss. What is it? His first game, and yeah, I remember that. Yes, it. Hello?
I foresee things going better, but the Mike Hughes injury does concern me with this secondary. I will say I think Taysom Hill could increase amount of carries, so that could benefit him. Sendejo was out today. I don't know. I mean, you probably play George Iloka at corner. Fuck, I mean, he's very good.
Like, I never heard of that guy. They signed him, and they made a big deal of them signing him from the Bengals in training camp. Like, was he on special teams? Like, they made a big deal of this guy. I had never heard of him before, and he had never played.
Really?
Huh?
No, George, you'd never heard of George Loca before?
Charlie, who the fuck are we talking about?
George Loca? I don't know. I've never heard of this guy.
That his last name.
Oh my god!
I never heard of that.
Iloka.
Safety flight. Iloka. Is that right?
Yes. Yep. That's exactly how you spell it.
Iloka. Iloka. Some safety from the Bengals. He's what, like, he's been maybe 5-6 years, whatever. I had never heard of this fucking dude.
Where'd he play collegiately at?
Fuck if I know.
We'll find that out here on the old.
It was with Zimmer, I guess, in Cincinnati. The Vikings signed him halfway through training camp as a safety, and people like, oh my, the best defense in the NFL got better because they signed George. Who the fuck knows what his name is? Like, who in the fuck is this guy? He sure as fuck didn't play defense the first month of the season. Was he on special teams? Was he even active? Fuck if I know. And what, Sendejo got injured or suspended or whatever the fuck happened to him. Took a wrong corner on the interstate, and they put in this guy. And he was.
Have you guys, without looking at the old Google machine, Iloka went to a school
Auburn.
No, he went to a school that has been a very good football team for a number of years. They had a phenomenal Fiesta Bowl. Ian Johnson is an alum.
Boise State?
Wait, who is this guy? Who the fuck is this?
Yep.
Well, that's part of the reason why I didn't know who he was, because I've seen Boise State play like twice in the last 5 or 6 years.
And I saw some lineman, some team. I think it must have been an offensive lineman. Some team gave an offensive lineman some big money contract like this week. Like, I never heard of this guy. I have no idea who this guy is. And he gets like $50 million.
Better not have been the Vikings giving Tom Compton as the deal. No. God, he sucks.
Like, who are these people?
Okay. Who is the team?
I have no idea. I've never heard of the guy, and he's a $50 million contract to block some fucks. I never heard of this George guy. I have no idea who.
So you have no idea what the team is?
No, I saw it on the bottom of a scroll this week, and some offensive lineman. Let's see, NFL O-line contract this week. What do we got, Google? Fuck if I know. George, no. Hell if I know.
Mark Schlereth.
Oh, are you talking potentially about the Jaguars signing Eric Flower?
No, this is a guy that's actually good, like a good guy. NFL contract. This is going to be tough to find. I don't know. Charlie, what was the last running back to matter, to make a difference?
In the NFL? In the NFL?
Jonathan?
Yeah, no, running back.
Sorry, you said.
You look at James Conner at Pittsburgh. They're doing fine without him, without Le'Veon Bell. So that sucks for Le'Veon Bell.
It's probably Peterson, like circa 07, 08, 09, like early.
And Peterson's big thing was his greatest year was good enough to get the Vikings a road playoff game wildcard weekend. Like Barry Sanders got Detroit to an NFC title game in 1991. It's like running backs just don't matter. Going back to the Saquon Barkley thing, it looked like he had a great game on Thursday, a shit ton of yards. They got their asses kicked, and I'm all in on.
I wouldn't go as far to say they don't matter. It's just more like the difference between they're easily replaceable.
Like I'm all in on never.
If you've got like if we use Madden ratings, if you've got a 97 running back, like that's good and can help you. But if you replace him with a running back who's an 87, you're not going to get quite the same production, but it's going to be close enough that it's not going to really give you much of a drop. Where if you go from a 97 to an 87 at cornerback or defensive back or pass rusher or things like that are going to make a much bigger difference in the grand scheme of things. They're like a lot of jobs where it's just like, I mean, yeah, you want to be good there, but you can replace someone who's not as good and still get mostly the same results, more or less.
As great as Barry Sanders was, I think they won one playoff game.
Yeah, and like when we say that now, I mean almost most of the great running backs I could name.
Who are the running backs for the Eagles? Like Corey Clement and who the Blunt? Like just a random ragtag of Darren Sproles of dudes last year. New England has this random who? Sure,
Smallwood. He played at West Virginia.
Like the Patriots always have this rotating door of guys. The Packers have never had a workhorse for a long time. The Giants, the Tiki Barber retires, and the immediately next year they win the Super Bowl. It's just I would never. I'm in the camp now of never taking a running back high. Ezekiel Elliott has by all means worked out for Dallas, and his first year was great, and they had the best record, and they won 0 playoff games. Like it just doesn't impact the game the way it should.
I think the only way I would take a running back in the first round is it would have to be someone who truly looks like they're fantastic. And I would have to be a team. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example.
Like you're already like a great team.
Like, yeah, somebody like the Rams right now that you're already loaded across the board. Although the Rams don't need a running back, so it's not a perfect example. But yeah, somewhere that you're just already loaded with dudes. So it's like, well, yeah, I suppose we could do this. But anything else, I agree. I mean, you're better off getting a defensive back or a pass rusher or a receiver, something, and just taking a running back in round 3 or round 4.
Are we all in agreement Eli Manning will go to the Hall of Fame, but he shouldn't? He will get there, but I mean, the guy just isn't.
Honestly, I don't know if he's going to go or not.
I think we all sort of have maybe the same but slightly different. I would say I think he will get to the Hall of Fame. I'm kind of 50-50 on whether he should or not. I can see it both ways, and that's not me just trying to ride the fence. But he's had a lot of bad years, but winning 2 Super Bowls, like I think should be like that's and doing it where
you remember those 2 Super Bowls.
I do.
You like them more than I do. I thought they were boring-ass games, but they, historical significance. And you all remember the throw. That's what everybody remembers. What were they, like 17-10, 17-14? Like, was he...
The first one was low scoring. I don't remember what I think the second one had more points, but maybe...
Second one was in the 20s. I think they won like 24, something like that.
I don't think he was in the Super Bowl. My recollection is he had big games in the playoffs prior to the Super Bowl, at least in 2007. I honestly don't. I barely remember anything about 2011 except Mario Manningham had a big catch and someone for New England dropped the ball in the end zone on the last play of the
Gronk, I
game.
think.
And that's like
Gronk.
the only thing I remember about that game.
Could we say that Eli Manning is possibly the best postseason or one of the best postseason quarterbacks ever to play, but a terrible regular season quarterback?
Like, I don't even know if I'd go that far. He's in the postseason, he's the two extremes where there's only 2 seasons he's ever even won a playoff game. And those are the 2 seasons where they went undefeated and won the Super Bowl. Every other time they made the playoffs, they lost in the first round. I shouldn't say the first round. They lost their first game they played.
He will finish his career with an under 500 record. He will have lost whatever that's worth to you.
I mean, because people are going to remember the NFC Championship game against the Packers when he outdueled Brett Favre in the cold.
Are we sure he did that?
Game.
If I look up the stats for that game, will it be clear that he was better?
The only thing I remember about that game is that, well, it was super cold. Tom Coughlin's face. The Giants, I think, missed a field goal at the end of regulation, but made a field goal to win in overtime. And that early in the game, Brett Favre had a 7-yard pass that went for a 90-yard touchdown. And that's everything I remember about that game from the 2000 season or 2007 season, early 2008 NFC title game. I would not be surprised if Favre threw for more yards, though.
He has won 4 more games than he has lost. That is in jeopardy this year. His quarterback
is that his fault though, or is that the result of poor offensive line play?
Well,
and I get that
he has led the league in interceptions 3 times. So that's not good. That is not good. His completion percentage is 60% in the playoffs and in the regular season. He is 8-4 in the playoffs. His quarterback rating is an 87. That is 4 points higher than the regular season. He has thrown 18 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in the playoffs. Points-wise, they have scored 0, 20, 24, 21, 23, 17, 11, 24, 37, 20, 21, 13. So once he has scored more than 24.
Not the first one, but the second Super Bowl he won. To get there, they beat the 49ers in a game that I just remember the 49ers turned it over twice and twice muff punts that the 49ers definitely should have won that game.
The Green Bay game. The Green Bay game, cold as hell, 23-20 in overtime. He threw for an amount of yards. 251. Didn't score a touchdown.
That's more yards than I thought he would have thrown for.
Favre had 2 touchdowns, plus he had 2 interceptions for 236. Eli Manning's quarterback rating was 72. Favre's was 70. Eli Manning was 21 of 40, was cold as hell. He was just a guy. The San Francisco game and the NFC title game, he was 32 of 58. He only threw for 316 yards despite throwing the ball 60 times. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, quarterback rating of 82. It feels like every game I bring up of him is the exact same pedestrian average game.
Fair.
Quarterback rating's 80.
Counterpoint, even though he does not even remotely have the same personality as this person, I think he gets in for the same reasons that Joe Namath did, that he was a quarterback in New York that won in one of the best upsets in Super Bowl or NFL history, period. And in addition to that, he found a way to win another Super Bowl on top of that.
Based on quarterback rating, his best ever playoff game, he was 12 of 18 for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns against Dallas. His second best game was a game against Atlanta. They won 24-2. He threw for 277, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was never a top 5 quarterback. I don't know in any year. Was he a top 10 quarterback? Maybe. You would think so, since he's played for 15 years. You would think one of those years. he'll get in, but Jesus Christ, like he's just not good. Not good.
And you say that somehow the Giants are going to rally, make the playoffs, and win the Super Bowl again. Now
Oh God, no.
Goddamn
God, no.
Beat the Patriots. It's going to happen again.
Is Joe Flacco better than him?
No.
The numbers say yes.
You know what? Joe Flacco's wide receiving core this year is different than it's a complete makeover from last year. So, by the way, the Ravens had 11 sacks against the Titans. 11.
That is 10 more sacks.
Had 8 sacks against Concordia.
That is 10 more sacks than anybody here has.
Touche. I like that.
Yeah, we all have 1 sack. We don't have 11 of them. Joe Flacco, what's he won? 1 Super Bowl? 1 Super Bowl.
2.
He beat San Francisco. What was the other one?
Oh,
he's only won one.
He's got 1.
Wait, I'm sorry. Baltimore only has 2 Super Bowls. My bad.
And he's another guy. You look at his playoff games. They're a little better, I would say, than Peyton Manning.
And you know what? He wanted to even have a Super Bowl if the Denver Broncos could have like any like just a defense that knows how to defend a Hail Mary. I mean,
also, if the 49ers wouldn't have thrown like 2 fades at the goal line, then maybe they don't win in the Super Bowl either.
Peyton Manning should probably.
If the lights don't go out, and maybe the 49ers don't even have that chance.
Peyton Manning should probably have at least 3 Super Bowls. He's got 2. I guess he should probably have about 4. He should have both.
Well, his liquor kicker, you can blame for one of those.
I'm trying to look through Pro Football Focus to find this thing from earlier in the week. I'm 6 pages deep, and it's still on today's shit. Do they update every fucking score for every game that happens?
I would hope so.
Like, Jesus.
It's Pro Football Focus.
I don't need to know that the Chargers scored a first touchdown against the Browns. It's like, Jesus Christ. I'm 7 pages deep here, and I'm still on Sunday. Fuck. How much shit does this site make? Fucking Christ.
Breaking news. Games are played on Sundays.
Like, what do you... Not everything has to be updated.
All right. Hypothetical question while you're still scrolling through there.
Chargers get a 28-6 lead after they intercept Baker Mayfield. Do we need a story on this? Chargers up 21-6 at half. Jets lead 21-13. We don't need little recaps. Vikings lead at half. Washington leads at half. Christ.
What if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt in that game in 2001? The Patriots keep Brady around for like 2 more years, trade him or cut him. Brady goes to some team that's bad, the wrong team, and has like a mediocre 6 or 7 years surrounded by bad coaching and bad talent and is out of the NFL by like 2010.
What happens?
How does that change both the NFL and Peyton Manning's career?
Peyton Manning is seen as the greatest of all time. No questions asked. He probably wins 2 more Super Bowls, if not more. Let's see. They lost. Colts only lost.
I only bring that up because there's a fair amount of times that
Colts lost twice to Brady in the championship game.
But I know there were also a couple times where it looked like it was going to be Colts and Patriots in the AFC title game, and the Colts would like lose to the Chargers or the Jets randomly in the first round. I agree that Peyton would have more Super Bowls, but I think it's also possible that a couple of the years we'd look at. Although at the same time, who knows? It could be that because of the Patriots not being so good that, you know, there's more years where the Colts get a first-round bye and home field advantage throughout the playoffs and stuff like that.
I think the Steelers probably win one or two more, and maybe Baltimore wins another one. I think would be the big changes. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Manning. I think they all win at least one more.
We don't have to do all this right now, but also does it change? Like, oh, this NFC team that lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl would have actually won now. Like the Falcons a couple years ago, I would imagine
they would have won.
Who did the Patriots beat in the AFC title game?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah, I think the Falcons would have beat that Pittsburgh team.
Yeah. Or did the Giants win any Super Bowls? Bring it all around back to Eli Manning? What was it 2011? It would have been Baltimore.
Yeah, in 2000.
In 2007, it would have been that Chargers team.
Yeah.
That was maybe the most talented team in the NFL, but they were the Chargers.
Torn ACL that year, so they would not have won that game against Eli.
Oh, Rivers got hurt?
I don't think.
Yeah. Interesting. And
had a torn.
What happens to Bill Belichick?
Yeah, that's also a good point. It could be that Bill Belichick's just kind of some mediocre. Yeah, he was fine, and I don't know. Instead of being,
he's coaching the Vikings now. He's coaching the Vikings, and we got to hear about his relationship.
You know what? I will say that you can say that about Bill Belichick, but then he did lead Castle New England Patriots team to an 11-5 record back in whatever year after Bernard Pollard tore Tom Brady's ACL.
To do it.
What if he's there? I'm just trying to think of random teams. He's with New England just long enough that he gets fired, and then he ends up going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And you got Bill Belichick with Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers.
Ah, they probably win a lot more. I saw a thing on Twitter. It was a Drew Brees. What if the Dolphins take Drew Brees?
Yeah, man, I've thought about that numerous times before.
Yeah.
What happens to the Dolphins? What happens to the Saints? What happens to Nick Saban? What happens to Alabama? The whole
You
deal.
should say what happens to the Patriots. I mean, arguably, the Patriots aren't going to have as many Super Bowls as they do if Drew Brees is in Miami.
Maybe. I don't think – I think Drew Brees is really good. I don't think he would have made as big of a difference in Miami. I think he would have been good there, and they would have held on to him, and he might still be there now, but I don't think they would have won a Super Bowl. I think
the coach makes as big of a difference in this. I don't think Drew Brees and who was the Miami coach?
Nick Saban.
It was Nick Saban.
Oh yeah,
I think the biggest thing in all of this is what happens to Alabama. If Drew Brees is good enough to keep, is Drew Brees good enough, Charlie, to keep Nick Saban at Miami, or does he go regardless?
I think he's good enough to keep him there.
Is it just a couple?
But I think by like 2012 or 13 or so, maybe they're sick of being an above-average AFC team that can't get over the hump and get rid of them. I'm running through my head. I'm trying to think of who was a big coaching hire the same year that Saban went to Alabama. 2007 was his first year at Alabama. I'm just trying to remember if there was anyone else around
what a deal
that time frame. Because that would be, I don't know, it'd be interesting to see who they could have gotten instead. Sports Lounge blog post.
Ooh, there we go. Stack, and I forgot. We have NBA games start, Wednesday? Tuesday?
I think Tuesday. The Stack will have the NBA season preview on Tuesday. Unless the season starts Wednesday, but I'm pretty sure it's Thursday. It's a Stack Attack, sorry.
What does it say about the back?
What I'm saying is Golden State's winning this shit, and it's not even close. And I will say that they play
close.
No, they're gonna annihilate whoever comes out of the East. I'll probably pick Boston, but if Kawhi Leonard's healthy, I think Toronto's that team to watch in the in the East. And not like I'm breaking any news here by saying that. But
you know how much
I do think
we, specifically I, loathe the Raptors. Mainly due to switching from purple to red. If they would switch to purple, I'd be fine.
You know what? Canada just, I think, is on Monday legalizing weed. So that's a possible.
So you're saying they're going to switch their colors to green?
Well, I mean, it's possibly good news for the Raptors and everyone who's picking them.
This website is just. I mean, this is insane. I am on Friday. I've gone through 12 pages. I am on Friday. I have a hard time coming up with things to care about with the football. Von Miller still trying to get back on track. There's no excuses for in-game dehydration. Saquon Barkley has a good game. Patriots are favored for their 56th straight game with Tom Brady as quarterback. Jaguars put a long snapper on IR. Fuck this shit. All of it. Ben Roethlisberger to rest elbow during bye week. Cannot take any more of this shit. I cannot. Not.
You need NBA picks?
I suppose.
All right, East. I'm going. Celtics over the Bucks. The Bucks make a trade for someone in an attempt to keep Giannis happy.
Butler, Jimmy Butler.
Maybe Jimmy Butler. Ultimately, 2-3 years from now, maybe it doesn't work and Giannis leaves. But it gets them to the East. But the Celtics win the East still. In the West, the Golden State Warriors I've got in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, who find a way to trade for Kawhi Leonard at the All-Star break. I don't know how they do it, but they find some way. And then LeBron keeps up his final streak because Kawhi and LeBron find a way to get it done and beat the Warriors, but lose to the Celtics in the finals. That's Charlie's. It's not going to happen. NBA picks. Celtics over Lakers.
Wow.
Although that's based heavily on assuming a trade for the Lakers that helps them dramatically this year, which is like a 40% chance of happening.
I would say this, Stack, and like the Warriors have never had an easy time winning a title. It's always been difficult.
No, you're right about that.
They were down 3-2 against Houston.
Okay, I was going to say, because are we talking before the NBA Finals or at the?
I think he means at some point in the playoffs as a whole.
Yep.
Like they lost one of them. Houston was up 3-2. Chris Paul gets hurt. Thunder, what was it? 3-1. Thunder was up 3 games to 1. The year they won 73, they lost. Year before that,
the year they won 73 was the same year that they had the Thunder 3-1 down, right?
Like I think this will be their toughest. I don't know if they're going to win it. This is the first year where I do not know if they will win.
I mean, but
I basically just went into it wanting to pick someone else because I think complacency sets in, and it's so hard to win because they've won what? They've won 3 or 4, and to make it 4 or 5 in 3 in a row,
be very impressive.
They have DeMarcus Cousins, though. I mean, do you really think that the Warriors are going to have to go through both the Lakers and the Rockets? Because if you think,
I mean, the Lakers could be like a 5 seed or a 6 seed.
I don't think.
I don't think they should have trouble with the Lakers.
No, I mean, I just don't. I don't foresee. I mean, if you think that they're going to go through both the Lakers and the Rockets, then I can understand where it's going to be a little more of a difficult
I just really like the Celtics. I think the Celtics are maybe the second best team in basketball.
And they get some healthy dudes back that didn't play last year.
If Gordon Hayward, if they get 2 All-Stars back, I think Kyrie Irving's a top 10 player. Gordon Hayward is a All-Star. And they went to Game 7 last year without him. So if they get, I think they're the second best team. And the only way
Cleveland
the title was with Kyrie Irving.
So in the West, I will go with the Warriors 1, the Rockets 2. I will go with the 3 seed, the Jazz as the 4, the Lakers as the 5. Then I will go with the
like trying to find anything on this website is death. It is just death.
I will go with the oh shit. I will go with the I don't.
Lakers,
I will go with the Spurs. I will go with the Spurs as I said. The Lakers 5, right? So I'll go Spurs 6, Trailblazers 7, Nuggets 8. I think the Northwest Division gets 4 teams in. The Timberwolves will not be one of them.
No Pelicans, no Wolves.
No Pelicans, no Wolves. There's a lot of talk about Anthony Davis possibly going to LA. I hope that does not happen, but we'll see
in the offseason.
Right, and I hope it doesn't, but we'll see. In the East, Boston's going to be the 1. Toronto's going to be the 2.
How does it work with the divisions? If they figure the divisions, if you don't win your division, you be a house. Do we know?
I think you get your guaranteed top 4 seed, if I remember correctly. Milwaukee will be the 3. I'll say that 4.
Can't find.
What about my Bucks? With Giannis.
No, I said Milwaukee would be the 3, didn't I?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. I was looking at baseball for a second.
Oh, that's good. Philadelphia will be the
who? Philadelphia.
Okay. I will pick Miami for the 5.
Really?
I'll pick then. I mean, it's such a crapshoot in the East.
Indiana?
I'll pick the Cavs for the 6.
What? You like Kevin Love?
No. I'll go Pacers for the 6.
I don't.
Cavs for the 7.
Boy. Ooh.
And
Bobcats for 8.
Ah!
Well, I really want to go Bobcats.
The Hornets.
That's right. I keep forgetting that they switched back, which was probably a wise decision.
Wizards.
Or do I go the Pistons with Blake Griffin? I mean, that's
Wizards. You got the Wizards?
Yeah, I got the Wizards as the 4.
Okay.
We'll go with the Bobcats. We'll go with the Bobcats at 8.
Yeah, it's
the Hornets.
Kemba Walker gets it done.
So who
this
doesn't?
Might not. Well,
who
the Knicks
doesn't make it from last? Detroit. You have Washington, Milwaukee, Miami, Indiana, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Toronto, Boston. That's who all made it last year. We got off somewhere. Like Boston 1, Toronto 2. You had the Bucks 3. Indiana.
I have Indiana in there. I have
Cleveland. I would say no to Cleveland. Miami.
I have okay, so I have Houston and Miami. Sorry, I don't have Charlotte in there because I'd have 3 from the Central, Houston, which would be Indiana, Cleveland, and Milwaukee. And then 3 from the Atlantic, which would be Boston, Toronto, and Philadelphia. So
2 from the
I'll
South.
pick all
Miami and Washington.
Miami and Washington. That gets us 8.
Detroit.
No Detroit.
Same. That's the same team as last. Okay.
Yeah.
Cleveland. I don't know about that.
I mean, you don't know what. I mean, Kevin Love might be able to do something.
Like Cleveland, Is it more exciting this year? Because LeBron's not in the East?
I think it makes the East even less attractive.
I think it's more competitive, but in some ways, I do think it makes it. There's less star power now. Unfortunately,
I've seen LeBron win this thing. I mean, I'm done with him winning the thing. It's like, all right, I want to see somebody else win the thing.
Like Giannis and the Bucks.
Sure, get him in there. Yes.
Don't trade him to the Lakers.
So Charlie likes the Lakers to go to the finals.
That's based solely off the fact that I'm assuming they're going to sign someone who's like a top 10 NBA player or 12 in a trade somehow before the trade deadline. That's only with it. I get that there's only like a 35% chance that happens this season, and it's based solely off that I think they're going to be like, you know what? Whether it's LeBron or Magic or someone, they're going to be like, we don't even want to sit around 1 year. Let's go ahead and do something, even if it in some way harms our future, to get stuff done right now to bring in somebody.
I'm shocked, Stack, and Jimmy Butler is going to play the first game.
What
a mess. What a goddamn mess this is.
How many times have I said over the last however many weeks that the Timberwolves put the word fun in dysfunctional? I mean,
I do like that he came back to practice and bitched everybody. I love that.
That's great.
And said, fuck you guys. I'm better than all of you. You need me. I'm going to be here, I guess, for a little bit, but you guys...
you know what? I don't even think it's that they need him. It's just that they need wins. But they need to buy in. They are the worst defensive team in preseason. They gave up 83 points to the Bucks in the first half on Friday night. This is a terrible team here if they don't buy in. So...
I wouldn't go all in on preseason stats.
No, but I mean, this is the last preseason game, and you don't have. If you, I don't know.
Frustrating.
It is. It's terribly frustrating. Butler's a great player, and honestly, Glenn Taylor's made so many terrible decisions throughout his tenure as owner in terms of the trades that he makes. But I think he's in the right here to try and trade Butler. But you got to be a little reasonable for what you want. I look at this trade that they were looking at with Miami, and I hear this, a Richardson guy. I'm like, is it Josh Richardson? Like, who the hell is this guy? I mean,
is it Jason Richardson, the former slam dunk champion?
I mean, you got to try and get, I don't know, let's say
a starter,
Justice Winslow or Whiteside, someone like, get a pick. You got to get a team, Gorgie James contract. You got to do something. It's beyond ridiculous. And Kevin Garnett is right to call both teams, what did he say, delusional or whatever. He's right to say that. This is a joke, and the Timberwolves are definitely one of the worst run franchises out of the 4 professional sports, and it's not even close.
Are you surprised, I guess, Charlie, that Miami seems to be the only team that wants him? He's a free agent or can opt out after next year. I am. I get why some teams maybe don't, because they just think they won't be able to get him long term, but he's still... I mean, if he's not top 10, he's definitely top 20. Sure, yeah.
He's a really good defensive player that can also help you a lot on the offensive end. And there's just a limited amount of those guys. And it's a zero-sum game with players. And there's only a handful that are going to make a difference, and he's one of those guys. And even if you only have him for a few months, I mean, we've seen it before, that there's times that you don't think someone's going to be there long term, and then maybe they like it or they get a favorable deal and they're there longer. And I mean, I get why some teams maybe aren't interested. I would think there'd be more than one.
I would think so too, and not a team like Miami, who's like a borderline playoff team, like a team like you can make.
I guess he would fit in offensively with what they do, but he'd be better than a lot of the guys they bring in.
And contract-wise, these teams can make it work out. They can send this fucking dude that's making $20 million on the bench. They can figure it out contract-wise, so I'm not concerned about that. But if you're like, if you're Oklahoma City, and last year was, I think, a huge disappointment, Oklahoma City. Why would you not, if you're going to go for this deal here and you somehow kept Paul George, for God's sakes, why would you not say, we're going to go for Jimmy Butler for 1 year? Maybe they're gunshot because what happened last year didn't really work out. But if you're somebody, that just somebody that
I don't know if he fits in with what they want to do.
Philadelphia.
But I was going to say the Spurs, who they lose a really good defender, Kawhi Leonard. It's like, well, I don't know if Jimmy Butler is as good as Kawhi Leonard, but like he's in the same ballpark as good defensively, and would help you out a lot.
And it seems like you can offer better than what Miami did. And maybe you can, who knows, maybe you can keep him for more than 1 year if you do well. So you've got Charlie's got Lakers over Boston over Lakers.
Yep.
Stacken's got Warriors over Boston.
Yep.
I've got Boston over Golden State.
I like it.
I've got Boston beating Golden State. MVP, Harden won last year. A lot of people thought LeBron should have won. Any MVP takers here?
Giannis.
He's all in on the Greek guy.
Well, I'm still not 100% sure on how to pronounce his last name. So much like Worcester, I just say it really, really fast. So no one pays attention. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Give him some of the gumbo. Stacking. The MVP of the basketball.
I'll go Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant with the MVP. I will take Anthony Davis. Pelicans MVP.
How far do you think the Pelicans are going to go in the playoffs?
No. They seemed to play better without DeMarcus Cousins at the end of the year. I'm not sure they're winning a playoff.
Addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Don't forget they lost Rondo, but they did gain Julius Randle.
That's good. They beat the Blazers last year. I think they got their asses kicked by Golden State. So, like the Spurs are not a title contender. Houston, I don't know if Houston can, win the 60-some games they won last year. That was pretty impressive. But I think there was no separation between the 3 spot and that 8 spot. Utah was a big surprise last year. Utah probably takes a jump back. I think Denver takes a jump up. New Orleans, they're in the muck and the mess. Schottenkirk thinks that Luka Doncic is going to be a Hall of Famer. I will agree with Schottenkirk. I will go that far with the man I've never seen play.
I just hope
I know who he is, but I forgot. Who was it that drafted him?
Dallas. I think this is going to be a Packer situation. You go from Dirk
to Doncic. Yeah.
That's what I think it's going to be. So I'm all in on
and both guys win them 1 Super Bowl, and you're like, man, they probably should have won more.
I had my fantasy draft.
This time, the NBA, not Super Bowl, obviously.
Yeah. Fantasy draft, 4 keepers. I had the 19th pick. I was hoping for Luka Doncic at pick 19. Unfortunately, he was picked with the first pick, so I didn't get him. I really wanted him. So
not only did you not get him, it wasn't even close.
No, maybe he'll drop because, they have the rankings and, they go through the rankings and stuff, and he's a rookie. But nope, they took him 1. I think they took DeAndre Ayton from the Suns 2. So that's how that works. There you go. Final thoughts. What do we got here? Chips, pretzels.
The fallout from Khabib and Conor.
These suspensions. He was at the Dallas game today, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
I saw him throw a football. It looked bad.
Yeah, he threw it left-handed. It was awful. Dana White just looks dumb in all of this. give Khabib his money, and I can't wait for the rematch, and Khabib can kick Conor's ass again.
Charlie, Saudi Arabia killed a journalist. WWE has a show in Saudi Arabia.
The Crown Jewel.
Yeah, you're familiar. You've been keeping up, like November 2nd.
I mean, I wouldn't say like super keeping up, but in the 2 shows I watched, they mentioned that pay-per-view multiple times.
Do you think this show goes on? Because there's a lot of heat at the moment on Saudi Arabia killing folks. Keep in mind, I believe
that's a good question because they're much more. I mean, you and Schottenkirk would know more so than I would, but they appear to be much more public friendly.
Yes,
WWE than they used to be. Where used to be like we could not care less what you think. Where now they're like, I don't know, I'm gonna preface this with I understand where they're coming from, and I'm not saying this is wrong. But there's an interesting hypocritical thing about a fictional professional wrestling show having advertisements for like, bullying's wrong. You shouldn't bully people. And it's like, oh, well, that's interesting based off what your thing is in the first place. My gut reaction says they're still going to do it, and then they just won't go there ever again after one time.
They did a show after WrestleMania, a few weeks after WrestleMania. It was in Saudi Arabia at a big stadium. They called it the Greatest Royal Rumble. They had a show. It was fine. They've signed some sort of a deal with Saudi Arabia. I think they have shows there over the next 10 years, maybe like 2 per year. And the word on the street is they get $50 million a show.
Oh, wow.
So this is a significant deal. You factor that in, that's a $500 million deal or so over the next decade. That's some serious money we're talking about here. So I think
they're probably going to keep doing it then.
Yeah, I think they're still going to do it. They may
I don't know how it works when they do the other pay-per-views.
This is a special type of deal.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, if they have one, just hypothetically, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a large if they would have one in Atlanta, which I guess that used to be WCW territory, but still a large wrestling location. Like, I don't know if Atlanta pays to have stuff there.
No. WrestleMania is getting that way, but this is a significant. This is like the
but that's what I was going to say. Though, is like even the biggest of the big ones in the United States. There's no way that, because I know Schottenkirk said in like a year and a half WrestleManias in Minneapolis. You can maybe convince me that Minneapolis would be like, oh, we paid $8 million to get him to come here. I might buy that. There's no way you could convince me that Minneapolis would pay like $25 million, let alone $50.
Yeah, so that's interesting to see if they do that. So I'll give you let's see, maybe by the end of the month to get kind of a recap what you think of the deal, what you think of whatever you're watching.
Okay,
is that fair? What are you at, 2 weeks?
I think that's fair. No, 1 week. I've only seen. I saw Raw on Monday and SmackDown on Tuesday, and that's all I've seen.
So far. See what you think here. Stacking what 5-0 on the picks? Is this right?
If the Chiefs cover the 3.5.
Okay. And you went underdogs this week, so that's good. You went underdogs.
Yep.
Very good.
You told me to, so that's what I'm going to do.
Stacking, even if this last one doesn't play out, you feel better about picking underdogs now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I know it sounds dumb because I used to pick college football games a lot when I was in like high school with some group of friends of my dad's. And I would always take favorites because I was just like, well, I think this team's going to win. And then you would forget to take stuff into account. And it's just like, oh, this team doesn't even have to win. And all they have to do is lose by 7 or fewer. And then they're fine. And it's just like, well, yeah, I guess I'll take that then.
There you go. Basketball.
Also, 2 other things quick. NBA, the Warriors are playing their last year in Oracle Arena. They move to San Francisco next year.
I don't like it.
So, I know. Oakland's getting screwed. And
where are the Athletics going to move so they don't have any professional teams anymore.
Well, they always want to play in a sewage stadium. But your NHL update, buy stock in the Carolina Hurricanes. They are very good.
I heard your exchange with Marcus. I would issue an apology right now.
What? What,
It's
me?
fine.
What did I say?
The Hurricanes are going to be a good year because of the Hurricanes. It's fine.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Nope, you're right. You're right. Philadelphia.
It's very wrong. It is very wrong, but it's
but it is correct. Philadelphia at Boston Tuesday. These games are on TNT. Philadelphia at Boston. Thunder at Warriors. I'll probably miss those, unfortunately. Wednesday, if anything, Wednesday, ESPN, Pelicans, Rockets, Mavs, Suns. Nothing gets me harder than a Mavs, Suns game opening week.
You could see Luka Doncic and what's his name? Booker?
DeAndre Ayton.
No, the guy from the Suns that scored like 80 points last year.
Top 2 picks in the draft. That makes sense.
But who's the guy from the Suns that's from Kentucky that scored like 80 points last year? I can't remember his name. Devin Booker, that's his name.
Yeah.
Hey, see those
Eric Bledsoe.
Sure. Bulls, Sixers on a Thursday. My Bulls, I'm cautiously optimistic of winning 30 games. That'll be good. Then Lakers at Blazers Thursday. Friday, what you got? Celtics, Raptors, put a gun to my head. Warriors, Jazz, sure. Sunday, go to hell, I'll say.
What are they saying about your guy Zach LaVine with the Bulls? Like he might be healthy again?
Yeah, he'll be good. I think he'll be good. He's good. Lauri Markkanen's out with he should miss maybe a month or so. Hopefully he's back. He can shoot some threes. He was good as a rookie last year. They're coming along. It's a slow fucking process, but they're coming along. So there we go. 2 hours in, we'll call it a day. For Stacking, for Noah, for Charlie, for everybody. Lounge 267 next week. We're in the thing. All the sports are going on. We got about a 2-week span here. All the sports are going on. So we'll see you then.